Yeah, hello. My name is Huina. I'm the founder of Wissee. So as Rongsheng just mentioned, so we attended the competition last year and we won. We also have this opportunity to connect with this excellent network. A lot of people who are very interested in our project. So we are very happy to know you. And today, thanks for the opportunities for inviting me to give this talk. So I actually would like to start with introduce my team. So actually, we are a group of people with very different but complementary backgrounds. So my name is Huina, so I'm the founder of Wissee. So I and my colleague and my friend Xin Shuai, so both of us, we are very algorithm people. So we focus on the natural language processing and the big data analytics. And Xin just quit his very well-paid job from Thomson Reuters and joined us full-time. So we are very excited about that. And Qing is our co-founder. So we are a very technology-heavy team. So Qing is a very unique and sharp business talent to us. She especially focused on the business and operation side. And she has extremely tremendous amount of experience in managing global projects while she worked in United Nations. And Shuai Lu is our lead software engineer. He is super smart and has very critical and creative thinking in how to build a good product. And Sergio is our web developers. He's very much experienced and he always can make our products more beautiful than I thought it could be. So I'm very lucky to have such a solid and complementary team. And without each of us, the work cannot be done. But what brings us together, since we have our different backgrounds, so what brings us together is because we all share the same dream and passion. We aim to disrupt how information is obtained and how decisions are made. Through our efforts, we hope to provide smarter analytics for people to make better decisions. So this is our shared dream. So today, the topic is alternative data and its applications in financial industry. So I will discuss from three perspectives. First, the first component is about my PhD study, which is considered as a pioneering study in using alternative data for financial predictions. And also this has become a key driver for me to start my adventure journey today. So second, I will talk more about the opportunities and challenges of using alternative data in financial industry. And third, I will introduce you the product Modiaco that's under development. So for the first part, I would need to set the clock back and talk about my previous PhD research. So just to give you a little background information for finance. So in 2013, so two economists, they won the Nobel Prize. So actually, very interesting, Professor Eugene Fama and Professor Robert Shiller, they share very different opinions in their series, but they share the Nobel Prize. So Professor Fama's theory is about the efficient market hypothesis, which they claim that investors are rational and market prices reflect all information efficiently. And for behavioral finance, which is supported by Robert Shiller, so he believed that investors are irrational, and there are a lot of noise traders, and they cause excess market volatilities. And more scholars in finance, they believe that people's sentiment, emotion, they do impact their decisions. So the question is no longer whether investor sentiments affects the stock prices, but rather how to measure investor sentiment and quantify its effect. So how to measure investor sentiment? Traditionally, it's always done through surveys like Gallup, Consumer Confidence Index, and there are also some other weekly posted investor intelligence and daily posted investor sentiment surveys. But the problem with surveys is that surveys is usually done at a very small scale. So they have about maybe at most hundreds of people. And surveys are quite expensive to conduct. And it's usually released with a delay and released like at weekly, monthly, or annual scales. So it's slow. So therefore, we propose to develop a computational method and to automatically quantify the national mood from Twitter data. So sentiment analysis is actually a very popular study in computer science, which is defined as sentiment analysis, the computational study of sentiments and opinions expressed in unstructured text. So the traditional method usually classify sentiment into positive and negative. But the problem is that humans' emotions actually is much more complex than just a positive and negative. And therefore, we proposed a method which is called Google Profile of Mood States, in which we can quantify people's mood from 6 dimensions, which is calm, alert, sure, vital, calm, and happy. And later, we collect the data from Twitter, and our input includes Twitter feed and the Dow Jones. And we applied 2 sentiment analysis method, which is our GPOMS versus the opinion finder, which is the traditional sentiment analysis method. And we have these mood indicators and the Dow Jones. And then we applied 2 models. One is a linear model, gradual causality, and the other is a neural network nonlinear model. So we want to compare the relation between people's mood and the Dow Jones. And here is some interesting results we have found. So you can look at the blue line. The blue line is the Dow Jones, the change of Dow Jones. And the red line is the change of people's mood in calmness dimension. So actually here, so if you look at today's Dow Jones change, so here we shift the calmness score like to 3 days earlier. Basically, we compare today's Dow Jones with 3 days earlier's calmness. And the top panel shows the correlation. So as you can see, it's a quite surprising finding. And we found that as people turn to anxiety, like or very calm anxiety, and then if they are very calm 3 days earlier, then the market go up. So if people become more anxious in 3 days, the Dow Jones go down. So we discovered that, and this method actually is US patented in 2013. And our statistical result has shown that calmness just very statistically significant results in terms of predict Dow Jones change. And when we use the neural network model to do the prediction, we achieve over 85% accuracy. So our study was a very disruptive force in financial industry. So it's covered by almost every major news media worldwide, including BBC and CNN and Time and USA Today. So because it was probably the first time that people realized alternative data, such as social media data, can have such big value for financial prediction. So that's why our research attract a lot of our attention. So that dragged people's attention to the alternative data. And that also make me realize alternative data can be a big game changer. And that drives me to continue to explore the value of alternative data in our today's startup. So for my second part, I would like to discuss about the opportunities and challenges of using alternative data in financial industry. So let's see some data. From 2016 to 2020, it has been projected that the spending on alternative data can increase by more than 600% just in the past 4 years. And till now, this year is predicted to spend in alternative data about 1.7 billion will be spent in alternative data this year. And this number has been increasing. So what drives the growth of alternative data spending? And to my understanding, I think there are 3 major reasons. The first is that alternative data grows exponentially. And there is a massive amount of data that become available every day from the web, from social media, from YouTube, and a lot of imagery data and satellite data and the IoT sensor data. So we have a lot of different kind of data. So that is one of the important driver. And also compared to traditional data, alternative data has advantages. Like alternative data is very efficient, basically they're real time compared to traditional data. Like the company, they release their financial report maybe every quarter or the end of the year. So compared to that, it's more real time. And also the alternative data is mostly generated by the consumers themselves. So from it, we can get more true insights about consumers. And just, thirdly, I think the driver is because the money managers or the fund managers, they're getting younger. So there is a new generation of fund managers. And they usually have very strong technology mindset, and they pursue the data-driven decision-making. So there is a big demand for using alternative data, for using AI and deep learning to empower their investment decisions. So another data has shown that so the funds, they spend a lot of money in web data, credit card data, and social media sentiment data, and app usage and web traffic and satellite, etc. And for Wissee, we especially focus on web data, social media, and sentiment analysis, as well as web traffic data. So if among our audiences, if like you may have other data such as credit card data or other data, and you want to explore some collaborations, please contact with us. I think it would be a very fun collaborations to explore the value of other data sources. So there is a huge opportunity, but also a lot of challenges. And I would like to quote from Deloitte. So Deloitte says, today we are drawing in data, but starving for insights. So the challenges can be seen that over 90% of all the world's digital data today is unstructured and is very noisy. So how to use this data become a very key problem. And second, Over 75% of financial institutions, they agree that they're challenged by the fractured nature and a vast amount of data available. So if we have a lot of data, but a lot of noise, then it would become garbage in, garbage out. If you cannot process the incoming big data very well, then there's no value information that you can get. And here I would like to show one example. So there is a very fun joke. Actually, it's true. So every time when the actress Anne Hathaway show on the news headline, so Warren Buffett's company Berkshire Hathaway's stock price just increased. And can you guess why? It's because the algorithm, they don't understand which Hathaway it is. So the smart algorithm actually is not that smart. It's not understanding even which Hathaway it is. So similarly, so if, for example, if you want to collect some data from Twitter and want to understand what people talk about Apple, so I think the first thing that you need to do is you need to develop a very good algorithm that can help you differentiate which Apple it is. So what if this tweet is talking about fruit apple, right? You have to remove this data if you want to do analysis on people talking about computer Apple. So there's a lot of cases that companies, they may share the same name, but they are in different sectors. So how can you differentiate which company is which? So all these, I think, require very advanced semantic analysis algorithms, which that we will focus on. So the solutions, yeah, talking about the challenges. So we want to see how to solve them. And here we introduce Mosaico to solve these challenges. And the meaning of Mosaico actually is mosaic, it's mosaic. So actually it means piecing different information from different resources into the true and deep insight. So that is the meaning of our product. So Mosaico is created to solve the pain points that investors have in their information gathering and analysis. As we know that it's quite time consuming to synthesize the fragmented data points and connect the relevant insights. And also you may see the news, they may spend a lot of pages talking about the big companies. But how about for the small company, the very early stage company? You won't see so much information about these small companies. So there is an information blind spot, and we want to address that. And also, it's quite expensive to buy the advanced data analytics product. And only like a very big institutions, they can pay to talk to domain expert to gain their insights. So talking to a domain expert can cost about over 1,000 by hour, every hour. And the data analytics subscription fees can cost more than 30,000 a year. So it's expensive. So our product vision is to synthesize machine intelligence through the big data analytics and the human intelligence, which we develop smart algorithm to find the domain experts and domain influencers, which we can recommend to the investors so that they can connect directly to gain the deeper insights. So by combining the machine intelligence and human intelligence, we create Mosaico, our global knowledge platform, which can make the investors to gain the information edge and win the market. This is our goal. So our value proposition is we want to provide faster and cheaper analytics and provide more accurate and detailed and reliable information. So our initial market especially focused on alternative data and provide information for investors. So we estimate that our initial market size is about 2.8 billion, but we don't stop there. According to IDC, so the big data analytics in financial sector, the market size is about 26 billion. And the overall big data and analytics market is about 260 billion. So as we move forward more, we will expand our market to a wider big data analytics market. So here shows a brief framework of Mosaico. So here for the input, we have been monitoring a lot of data sets. So we collected the financial reports of millions of companies, and we monitor their company website, and we monitor the regulation policies, and we have a world patent database, and we collect like millions of social media posts every day, and we monitor news, and we also stream for publication data, hiring data, and we discover influencers and experts insights. And we develop our proprietary AI algorithm, especially natural language processing algorithm and deep learning classification algorithm. And we built a large scale industry knowledge graph, which we can connect the information from different resources and to generate some hidden insight. And the output is our Mosaico knowledge platform. So I would like to show you a couple of case studies to demonstrate how we work. So here I just mentioned that so there is a information blind spot when people want to know more about early stage companies. And here what we do is that we collect a lot of data about a lot of companies, and we develop like topic classification algorithm, and we develop algorithm to extract key phrases from the content, and event mining and knowledge graph analysis. So based on all these analytics, so we generate a more readable company timelines. And here we can see one example. So like here you search a startup called Sturfy, and here you can see a company timeline, and you can see their fundraising information, and you can see the product launch from Twitter, and their even H1B information and patent information and their partnership. So as you can see that this is not reported from any like BBC or major news media website. It's only reported in the company website because we are monitoring this information so that we can get that into our database. And based on our understanding about Sturfy, and the investor may want to compare it with its competitors. Here we are comparing Sturfy with its competitors along several important dimensions, like the funding, latest funding size, total funding, hiring activities, and their patents. Yeah, so the second case study is we are currently developing a dashboard in which that we monitor the company and the brand heat and sentiment by monitoring the social media data. So here is one example where we collect a lot of data. People talk about Canada Goose from Twitter and Instagram. And here we can discover, we can find what people are talking about Canada Goose and what is the sentiment there about, and how it's how is the sentiment trend compared to like 1 or 2 months ago? And who are the top influencers and what are the top messengers? So the dashboard shows these important components. And speaking of the sentiment, we can see that when people talk about Canada Goose, so they talk about coyote. So they criticize that Canada Goose, they are using the coyote's fur. So these are negative sentiment. So when it comes to investment, that could be a good insight for investors think, okay, so will that pose any threat in the future sales? So this helps investors to prepare for their future investment. And as we discover if there is a very high or very low sentiment, we send alert to our users. And we also do the pattern trend analysis. So here, I think this is about the patterns in autonomous vehicle. And here you can see that the volume of patterns along the past several years from 2020 to now. And you can see the distributions among like which companies or organizations they host the most patent and what is the country distributions. So we have about 90 million global patents in our database. And the last case study is about how to find the domain expert. We just mentioned that humans or domain experts insights is very important in addition to like the data's insights. So how to find these people? So first we collected the domain expert data based on the personal homepage. And we also gathered the information from patents, publications, linkings, and some industries associations. So these are the raw expert data. And based on these data, we built a very large scale global expert database and it's up to date. And we built an intelligent expert recommendation system, which we can recommend the most relevant expert to the investors based on their investment field. So which field that they're interested in to invest. So speaking of our users, so who are our users? Basically, we provide our information to both the private market investors and stock market investors, and also the non-financial users. And for our early adopters, we specially serve to the hedge fund group. So they are very big risk takers. And also VCs, early stage VCs is also our early adopters. So I think I just want to talk a little more about the alternative data. So alternative data, as I just mentioned, so there is a lot of challenges of using it because there is a lot of noise. So how to improve the accuracies? I think everything need to be based on a very solid and accurate algorithms. So our competitive advantage lies in the algorithm side. So our test classification algorithm, event classification algorithm, and sentiment analysis algorithm are all proprietary. And we built a very large scale industry knowledge graph, which is very comprehensive and can connect a lot of attributes for us to discover some like hidden signals. And our team include researchers, engineers, and business experts. So our business model, so simply put, so we make our revenue by selling membership, by selling the data API, and also we have a very premium model, which we have exclusive partnership with hedge funds, which we gain revenue from their profit. So it's outcome based. So our business model has is divided for like both business users and individual users. So at the end, I want to say that we just closed fundraising, and now we are hiring both like full-time, part-time, and summer interns in the field of software engineering, and we are also looking for web developers and UX designers and NLP and data scientists. Yeah, so if you're interested, you can send your resume or questions to our email, the contact email. And this is the end. Thank you all. And if you have any questions, I would like to take it. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Mao. And if anyone has a question, just raise your hand. Yeah.
Hello, I have one question. So you talk about your business. I wonder who your customers majorly is. Is that business or customers, individuals? Second question is, do you have any financial advisor experts that help you to make help your company to make decisions?
So to answer your first question about the users, so this is what I just talked about. So, so basically, our major users are the investors, both from the private market side and also from the stock market side. And currently, we actively work with hedge funds. And also, we are developing our very standard product, which can widely serve like the general investors, not only stock market investors, and also VCs. And to answer your second question, we just closed a round of fundraising. So we don't have financial advisors, but if you have any suggestions, we would like to hear. And also, I think my co-founder Qing is also here. So if you want to share something, please jump in.
Yeah, my background is not in financial advising, but I'm just curious, how do you make decisions? Because machine is machine, the data science is data science, but we do need human beings to make some justification on decisions. Yeah, that's just my insights.
So actually, see, now we work with the I think your question is about how our data can help the investors. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So see, this is one example I just showed. So here, we develop sentiment analysis algorithms, and we collect a massive amount of data from social media. So we gather the data people talk about, the kind of goose, and we automatically can generate the sentiment signal to see whether it's up or it's down, right? So if people like talk very positively about this product or this brand, so to investors that become a very important signal for them maybe to invest more in Canada Goose. And also if people talk like a lot of negative things about it, so that can may give them like a red flag. So should I be more careful in the investing? Yeah, so and also as I just mentioned, Canada Goose, so they are public companies, and usually they publish their financial statements like every quarter, but it's too late, usually when you see the financial report. So the investor, they want to gain the information earlier. So that's why that they want to track what people think about it from the more real-time data, the social media.
Okay, got it. Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah.
Thanks for question, and let's move on to okay. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. That was really awesome. So I just have a question. I briefly take a look at the paper you mentioned about the Twitter predicting the Dow Jones industry, index on, basically you trying to predict the trend with the mood. The mood score, you calculate it from the Twitter, but in my perspective, is quite not, from some parts that is, to fit really well, but some part it doesn't really, go line in line, in some parts. So I just wonder, do you have any like verification for the methodology you are using in Mocycle, like your product? Basically, you're not only using the mood score right now, you are fusing a lot of information, basically your proprietary information or some public. I just wonder if, I'm an investor, I'm using your product, how can you verify? And do you have any verification of the return, or the contribution I can get from your product? Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. So first to comment on your first comment about my paper. So I think so if you look at the chart, of course, it won't be like 100% accuracy, right?
Okay,
that would be the magic. And if you look at the paper, so we also mark there is a bank payout. So there are a lot of things that can affect the stock market. So there are some. Of course, so if there is some big things going on, so you can see, okay, so there is not a very accurate prediction on that side. I think that is very common. So I won't give more answers to why it's not 100 accuracy. I think that is very naive. And actually, from our analysis, you can see that it's already very surprising. So that's why that has attracted a lot of attention from both the academia and the financial industries. And now, if you look at the Bloomberg and Thomson Reuters products, they all include the Twitter analysis into their main product. So I think, I think that to predict financial market, so there is not like a one signal win. So you must need to combine a lot of signals. That's why here we are collecting data from different resources. But here I also want to emphasize our goal and now is more on the information extraction side. How to, I just mentioned that there is a lot of noise in big data, right? In the textual data. So for our current stage, we focus on how to clean this data, how to differentiate a computer apple and fruit apple like that. So we focus on information filter and to pass the most relevant information to users, and also we focus on information extraction. So which, for example, if there is a news and talk about there is acquisition. So here you can see there is a company who acquired this company and which company is acquired and at which date and what is the size. How much money they paid. So basically, we want to extract very structured information from unstructured data. So we focus on extracting very fundamental information. We are not generating predictive signals, which can tell you, okay, the market is going to go up and down tomorrow. This is not what we are doing right now.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. And also I have, on that note, I also have a quick question about the lagging. So basically, you're talking about you are not quite to predict the trend in the market, but you just want to give some sort of alert or heads up to, investors. But you also mentioned the majority of the user is private funds or, or the hedge fund investors, which may not trade, actively on every day. They trade in, big volumes, but they probably not going to follow the trend. Every little ripples in the market that close. So I just wonder, do you have an opinion of what the lagging of the signal you're giving, and also the response from the market, like in days or hours or even month? Are you trying to do something very micro or something macro? And also on that note, there's another quick one. So this is a very compact field, to my perspective. There's a lot of competitors. I know there's another startup in China who are constantly working on this field as well, Shannon AI. And I also wonder what's the competitive advantage. You mentioned some, but I just wonder what do you think you're the core competitive advantage compared to your competitors? Thank you.
Okay, I think let me try to summarize your questions. I think your first question is about
lagging.
About the lagging. So yeah, let's say our input or our analysis. So all these are real time. So we deliver the alert like to, let's say now we are collaborating with a hedge fund in Hong Kong. So actually we can provide our signals like real time. So we are qualified to do that. We are capable to do that. And we can send them alert at any moment if we discover, okay, there's some increase or decrease. So we send these signals to them, but it's their decision whether they are going to take any actions at that moment when we send them the alert or not. So basically from our data analytics side, I think our user could be quant for people who do the high frequency trading, and also could be for the value investors, fundamental investors, which they just want to know what's going on. Actually, they need to know this information, not necessarily because they are going to trade immediately, but they want to know that information to help them to decide the timing of exit or like enter. So again, I don't want you to treat us as like investor. We are not investor. We provide information to all kinds of investors. But our data analysis, there is no lag about our data analytics.
Okay.
Yeah. So the second question is about Shannon AI. Yeah, we know them very well, and actually, there is indeed. So there are a lot of competitors like Kensho, which was acquired 2 years ago for 500 million by SP Global. I think you probably also have heard of that. So there are a lot of like relevant companies. I think that's all because as I just showed you, so there is a big demand for alternative data, right? So that's why the demand drives suppliers. But speaking of the competitive advantage, so I still want to come to nail down to the algorithm side. And also, about the algorithm and about our team. So I think we are a very top-notch team and develop a very solid, accurate algorithms. So we are very confident about that. And also the market is very big. So it's not like a one unicorn dominate all market, right? So this is a financial market. So it's true, there are a lot of companies that they focus on the alternative data. But also, again, I want to talk about our current partners, the hedge funds that we work with. So previously, they have about 3 data providers, and now they hope to collaborate with us solely. It's because so much companies, they claim that they provide alternative data, but they only provide the data, but no analytics. And they still have a lot of noise. So according to our users, so like she said, we buy a lot of data, but it looks like a black box to us. Let's say they want to find some influencers and they give them a list of influencers, but how did they generate that, right? And how can you say it's not like water army, is that right? So sometimes they just click a like or not, but actually they are not the real people they are clicking. So they don't want what I want to say. So how to make your data like to be accurate and to be clean is a big problem. Recently, we are working on to monitor a company that that's on their watch list, which is called Farfetch. But if you just like doing keyword search and collect of data and do the analysis, actually you're passing them wrong signal because there's so many Farfetch, and there is a Pokemon game that's called Farfetched. So you have to do the disambiguity, and that has to be done through the advanced NLP algorithms. And we are confident that we have the more accurate algorithm compared to the benchmarks. We also compare with Google sentiment analysis algorithm, and we also compare our classification algorithm with Refinitiv product, and we show the improvement.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for question. Is there any other question now? Any question like that, you can just raise your hand and I can enable your talk.
Okay, actually I have one question about, so I'm very curious about your team members. Can you talk about something introduced to your teams? Okay, got it.
Yeah, actually, some of my colleagues they should be online too. So, is Qingqing online? Xin online? Shui online? So you can say hi. If you have some question for them, please ask.
Or you can just raise a hand. Like I can just enable your.
Hello.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
Yeah, I just if you can talk about something about your team members, because I probably missing the beginning.
Oh yeah, I just I introduced our team at the beginning. Yeah, so yeah, sure, I would love to talk about them again. I'm very proud of our team. So actually, as you can see, that our team have people from very different backgrounds. Basically, we have members from the algorithm side, like me and Xin Shui. He now works in Thomson Reuters, but will soon join us full time. So both of us are more on the natural language processing and big data analytics. And Qingqing is my co-founder. So she has tremendous experience in business and project management. And she especially focused on our business development and operation. And Shuai Lu is our software engineer, and he's very software engineer. So his background is 100% from the computer science side. And we also have our part-time Sergio as our part-time web developers, and he's very experienced and maybe have over 20-year experience in especially front-end web development. And previously, Sergio and Qingqing, they were colleagues at United Nations.
Got it. Thank you. So I saw that you also want to hire the developers.
Yeah.
So do you have any requirement about these positions?
Requirement. I think probably this question we can talk about offline. Could you please send me an email?
Okay, yeah, I'm not aware of sending a resume, but just curious what kind of developer you're looking for, or what's kind of requirements, or for example, what kind of tech stack you are looking for.
So now, I think we need both like more front end based and also back end based web developers. And now we are actually right now we are looking for the UX designers. So because as you can see that we are still a very small team, and now we are developing our standard product and we want to scale very fast. So that required a lot of work, both from the back end and the front end. So that's why we need all kinds of talent people.
Yeah, I think you can just leave at this page. So just in case someone just interested in this position. So I also noticed another question in our chat room, like in your perspective, does AI or human expert has the final say on the insight? And what if there are contradictions?
I beg your pardon?
So like another question from the chat room is, in your perspective, does AI or human expert have the final say on the insight? And what if there are contradictions between two?
Oh, I see. So I think that's a good question. Let me see. So at the beginning, I already said that we are collecting data from all kinds of data sources, including the domain experts' opinions. So what? And we cross-validate these different signals. We like if there is a very different opinions or contradictions, so we pass this information to the investors to evaluate. So what is our reason? Sometimes it could be, let's say from the data side, we monitor data from Twitter and Instagram and Google Trend, a lot of these things. So even these data, so their patterns could be very different. So I think that require our users to judge. So what is the reason? So it's mostly on the user side. It's not about on the data analytics side. So we can from our system we can send an alert to our users.
Nice. So it's up to the subscribers. So is any other further questions? Yeah, I think like thanks everyone for joining our speech today. And so besides that, you are welcome to like subscribe our YouTube channel. It's called like Seattle Entrepreneurship Club, and you will see the latest video of our speech every week. And if you like it, just click like and share the video with your friends and colleagues. Thanks everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.